Hey everybody, this is the Esoteric Cross. In this video, I'm coming to you with a tarot reading. I have 3 cards in front of me, and this reading is going to be centered on your career at this time, so this is exactly what you need to hear as far as your career and what's coming next. The first card we have is Compassion, the second card is Emergence, and the third card is the Heart Chakra. To pick your pile, go ahead and close your eyes if you're able to, and imagine bright white light at the top of the universe. Take a deep breath, and imagine this light filling your body and your aura, and then charging the ground beneath your feet with this light. Let this light move back up through your body and enter into your heart center. Feel this golden sphere of energy in the center of your chest for a moment. And then open your eyes, and the pile that you feel most drawn to is going to be the pile for you. I have the timestamps in the description below that will take you to your reading. Hey everybody that chose pile number 1, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear right now as far as your career at this moment. So let's take a look at this first card here, and it says Compassion, card number 15. So reading this card, it says the frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. So right off, this is telling me that what you need to hear at this moment as far as your career, it has to do with, I think it has to do with your life purpose, because this is showing you being the mediator between heaven and earth, you being the mediator between these other realms and what's happening here in the material. So this has to do with your heart center and what you're sharing with the world and how it pertains to your destiny and how it can lift other people into higher states of consciousness. So whatever that looks like for you, where your heart is drawn to, that's the direction that you need to go in. So let's go ahead and start pulling these tarot cards and see what we've got for you. Pile number 1. So the first thing that we have is the 3 of Swords. And this is one of the more difficult cards that has to do with betrayal and heartbreak. But let's see what else we've got. We also have the King of Cups. So there's this very strong emphasis on emotions. All right. Now we have the 5 of Wands. And lastly, we have... sometimes that happens and I drop a few cards. So it looks like we have the Knight of Wands as the last card. Okay, so with the 3 of Swords, we have this in your mental space at this moment. When this is in your mental space, this can represent the logic overriding emotions, as we can see the swords representing logic going into the heart and the heart representing the emotions. This can be about heartbreak, but I don't think that this is a very severe heartbreak. I think this has to do with you using your logic to overcome the things that are really causing you grief and pain. And you're using that to help other people and lift other people up. With this King of Cups energy, this represents you being somebody who can hold space for other people, hold emotional space. So I wouldn't be surprised if you are the people who are learning something, going back to school, whether this has to do with therapy. Maybe you are entering the field where you are helping lift other people up. So this can also have to do with you doing something like this, learning tarot, or going into the spiritual field, so that way you can help lift other people into a higher state of consciousness. But there's this emphasis on the pain that you've been through and you being able to alchemize that pain and turn it into something else, and you're developing this deep understanding of who you are and you are externalizing that. With this 5 of Wands, again, this has to do with your pain and what you are doing on the internal. We have people who are fighting here in this card. People are having their differences. And sometimes this card can be more positive and more negative depending on what other cards it comes out with. But since this comes out with that 3 of Swords, this is telling me that I think it has a lot to do with you having to deal with other people, where a lot of people have not understood you, and maybe they have been pitting you against other people, but maybe people have been very against you in certain ways within your past work, or maybe at your current job now. But where you're moving forward to is going to have to do with how you're overcoming the obstacles that you're facing right now. And I think that it has to do with a lot of energy. It's like the fire is being lit under you, so that way you can break through the barriers that you're experiencing right now when it comes to your job. Lastly, we have this Knight of Wands. And I think that this is victory and this is moving forward. So I think that you don't need all of the answers right now. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. You just have to move in the direction in which you're passionate about. You have to take action in the direction that you're passionate about. And that's what's going to lead you to results and new understandings. You're going to internalize new things by doing that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull some more cards. We have these Tree of Life Oracle cards. This is one of my favorite decks. So the first card we have here is Kether the Crown, card number 1. And if you know the Tree of Life, this is going to be, it represents the source of divinity. It represents awareness. It says attainment and, what does it say? Peace? Point. Sorry, I can't see from all the way back here at my microphone. But it says source, point, and attainment. I think that there's an emphasis on detachment and, what am I trying to say? Awareness. It has to do with awareness, the I am principle, what you are behind your consciousness. So I think that that's really important at this time, is to not completely attach to every little thing that's not just happening in your life, but also where you're heading and what your goals are. Get very present and get very serious about, I guess, the way that you're living within the present moment. So I have one more Sacred Geometry card that I want to pull for you all. So let's see what we've got for you. Pile number 1. We have Realization, card number 37. So I don't know if 37 is an important number for you all. It says the frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. And I was also just going to say, with compassion, the message of that card being the mediator between heaven and earth, there's this emphasis on living out your true will, and doing something that you really care about. And we also have mentionings of the heart in this card too, whereas we have that heart in the Three of Swords. So this has to do with, I think, people putting you down for what it is that you care about, people putting you down for what you wanted to go for. But it's time to go ahead and start going for it anyway, because this is your life. Nobody can tell you what you're supposed to do with your life. So these cards are really awesome. These are magical symbols cards. You can put energy into them. You can work with them in various ways. You can draw the symbol and put energy into it, but it says wishes come true. Card number 1, it says rapid achievement of your dreams and wishes. So I think that your career, what you're being told to move into, has to do with what you've always wanted to do. And if you have a dream that you think is too big for anybody to achieve or too big for you to achieve, it's time for you to go for it anyway and prove yourself wrong and prove these other people wrong. Your career can be anything that you want it to be. I always tell people the key to becoming good at something, the key to becoming good at something is to keep practicing and keep learning new information, internalizing information, take action on what you've internalized. But when it comes to creating money, that is going to have to do with the value that you provide to other people. So I want you to really think about what value you provide within that field. So you might have to just tweak some things to get to where you want to go, but really put that emphasis on the value that you're providing. So I know that this is a bit of a shorter reading because I am short on time, but I end every reading out with some sort of affirmation. So hopefully this affirmation is something for you to feel inspired and to keep going towards this direction. So let's see what we've got for you. We have grounding. It says, you're being asked to ground yourself. You've been spending too much time in your head, and it's time to pay attention to your body and to the earth. Go outside and plant your feet on the ground and enjoy the centering feeling that this brings. Awesome. So everybody who picked this reading, I hope that you enjoyed it. If it's something that resonated with you, please leave a comment below. Subscribe for more content. I do offer private readings, so you can check that out in the description below. And I also offer a course in tarot and a course in ceremonial magic. and in Kabbalah. So if those are something that you're interested in, please check out my website in the description below. But thank you all for watching, and until next time. Hey everybody that chose pile number 2, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear at this time as far as your career, what's coming up for you. You chose card number 25, Emergence. It says, the frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. Wow, so I think that a lot of you are going to be getting in touch with your inner child for your career. So I don't know if you guys are going to be very artsy, or maybe it doesn't have to be artsy, but I think that you're going to be getting in touch with what it was that you wanted to do as a child, maybe, or something that you would get very imaginative about when you were a child, when you like play pretend. I don't know. Let's get a little bit more into what this means. So we're going to draw some tarot cards, I guess, either for confirmation or to just kind of uncover the story that we've got for you, pile number 2. So the first card that we have here is the Four of Swords. And there is this strong emphasis on rest here with this card. And this is another one that's popping out, which is the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands has this emphasis on magic. She has this black cat. She has the sunflower, the symbol for positivity. The wands have this strong correlation to spirituality, of course, and creativity and passion. All right, so let's see what else we've got for you. What is going on for you, pile number 2? We have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups. So we have walking away from something that you've cared about, or that you've put a lot of energy into, or also walking away from something that you just know that isn't serving you, whether this is, I don't want to say an addiction, but it could be something that's just really difficult. And then, of course, we have the Seven of Wands. All right, so with the Four of Swords, I think that you are being asked to take a mental break. And this doesn't mean don't work, but I think that this might mean checking out from whatever it is that you're doing or wherever you've been. Maybe it's time to take a rest and do some reflection. If you still have a job, of course, I never advocate to quit a job before you start a new one or anything like that. But what I'm saying is maybe it's time to take the stress off of your shoulders when it comes to what you're doing right now. So if something is extremely overwhelming for you, I want you to relax for a minute. So for example, one of my jobs is it has a lot to do with checking emails. It has a lot to do with just feeling responsible for a lot of other people. And sometimes I just tell myself when I go into that job, I'm just going to sit here and check some emails and answer some emails. I can do that, even though my day is filled with a lot more responsibilities than that. But sometimes just telling myself I can just answer 2 or 3 emails. I can answer emails until it's 5 o'clock, and then it's time to make dinner and do the rest of my night routine at home. Sometimes you can just say something like that, and it takes this weight off of your shoulders, and it lets you focus here on the present moment instead of worrying about your long to-do list of things. So I think that that's a big message that's coming through for you, pile number 2. And then with the Queen of Wands, this is getting in touch with that magic. So I don't know if you're the type of people who have a spiritual routine where you practice energy work or you're doing anything like that, but I think that you are being encouraged to do something like that and lean into whatever routine that you could develop or that you already have, and use it to your benefit. Use it for manifesting. And with this Eight of Cups, all right, so this is walking away from something, but I think that you're ready to walk away from something. And it doesn't have to be walking away from a job, but it can be walking away from negative ways of thinking, or it could be that you have been addicted to worrying about your job or addicted to complaining about your job. And we all go through that, especially when we are doing something that we are not enjoying very much. So again, the answer to this is going to revolve right back. It's going to go right back to being present with where you are, just worrying about what you're doing right now in this moment instead of worrying about your long to-do list. Just think about all I have to do is answer these emails or take a few phone calls. It's nothing too serious, and that helps take that weight off of your shoulders. So it's doing less, slowing down and doing less ends up making you more productive in the long run. And at least that's been my experience. And I think that that's a strange paradox that happens when you take a deep breath and let things go that you have been planning so hard on for the future and worrying so much about expectations. That's the key message for you, pile number 2, is lowering your expectations. And I mean that in a positive way. With the 7 of Wands, this is what we are kind of physically manifesting in this moment, and that has a lot to do with defensiveness, resistance. So I think that something that you're creating, you are defending it, and this could feel like a lot of people are against you, or it could feel like you're alone at this moment with what it is that you're going through. But I want to remind you that you have to not misuse your emotions. Don't misuse your passions. Don't misuse your spiritual fire. Return back to that place of presence. What you're doing right now is acting out based off of everything that you have been going through, and that's okay. But I think the message is you're taking spiritual power and you're grounding it. And I think that what you have been doing is not the healthiest way of grounding it, and that's okay. And you're learning through this moment. And I think the next step for you is to find a better way to ground all of this energy that you have pent up. So let's get some further clarification on where you're at and where you're going as far as your career. So I have these Tree of Life Oracle cards, which is amazing if you're into Kabbalah and you are into the Tree of Life. We have the element of water, intuition, emotions, and love. So again, we are back with that emphasis on emotions. I feel like a lot of you are acting through your emotions, which can be very beneficial. And sometimes it can be a little harmful, especially if we are kind of misusing, or if we are acting out of something or reacting. I guess we're reacting to our environment. So take a moment, take a deep breath, and if you can become as present as possible when it comes to this situation and observe the emotions that come up, observe the thoughts that are happening. It's okay to feel the emotions, and it's even better to ground the emotions within reality. But if we take that step back and observe the process, that keeps us from acting out of the emotions in a negative way, and it helps us ground these emotions into the physical in a more positive and productive way. So I think that that's definitely a big message that's coming through. And also those emotions are very powerful when it comes to transforming things, creating change. The emotions and the element of water has a lot to do with change and adaptability and flexibility and transition. So I'm going back to this Sacred Geometry deck from that first card, and we have another card here. It says card number 20, Discernment. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. So again, we're being asked to detach. Detach to the outcome, detach from what you think other people are thinking about you, especially when it comes to your job and with what you're doing. Coming from that place of detachment is this place where we actually create a lot of spaciousness, especially with those Four of Swords energy. That is the energy where we are resting and we are becoming present. It could be viewed at as a meditation card. We are dropping the anxieties and the worries and the fears that we've been having and we've been holding on to for so long. And that is the place where we are creating some sort of expansion, some sort of expansiveness for us. This is the place where we can create the future that we really want. We can actually see the job that we want. We can actually see the money that we want coming in. All right, so let's see what else we've got for you. Pile number 2. These are some of my favorite cards. This is the deck Magic Symbols. And you can draw these symbols, you can put energy into them. There's a number of ways you can work with these cards, but the symbol that you have is Love Charm. It says attract a lover, soulmate, or life partner. So I don't know if this means that your soulmate or your person that you're supposed to be with has a role to play when it comes to your career, or maybe you're meeting the person within your job. But I think that you are possibly coming to a place where you are working with a partner. Maybe this can be in a romantic way, but it can also be a business partner, like a match made in heaven when it comes to creating business with somebody. So that message is probably very specific for some of you, because I know not all of you are going to be in that same situation, but there is this emphasis on finding love when it has to do with your career. All right, so I end every reading out with some sort of affirmation. So let's see what we've got for you. Pile number 2, we have soar. It says you're being asked to stop dimming your own light, period. It's time for you to come out of the shadows and let your authentic self soar. Fly high. Let your authentic self soar. And I think that that goes back to that inner child too. What it was that you wanted to do as a kid, what you were most excited about as a kid, it is dying to come out. And once it comes out, you're probably going to exceed all expectations that you've ever placed on yourself or that other people have ever placed on you. So that is what I have for you, pile number 2. Hopefully you've enjoyed this reading. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe for more content. I do offer a course on tarot and a course on Kabbalah, and also one on ceremonial magic. So if any of those are something that you're interested in, check out the link in the description below. And also, if you want to book a reading with me, you can check out the link in the description below. So thank you all so much for tuning into this video and into this reading. And thank you. Until next time. Hey everybody that chose pile number 3, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear at this moment as far as your career, what's coming up for you. So let's see what's going on with you. You picked card number 4, Heart Chakra, and it says on this card, the frequency of the heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. So all 3 piles here today have this emphasis on our care aspect, I think. Pile number 1 had a few correlations with the heart. Pile number 2 had something to do with the inner child, which is still kind of going back to this care aspect. And then you also have this heart chakra card. But you, no pun intended, we're getting to the heart of the situation here with your pile. Like I said, the frequency of the heart chakra supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. The healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. So we are coming into harmony. We are learning balance. I think that there's an emphasis on the balance of contraction, so restriction, pulling inwards, going internal, and also the balance of the expansiveness, force, the expansive force of life. And that is also the place where we can create things or we experience success, but too much of that, of course, leads to chaos. Too much expansion leads to chaos. So we want to be able to hold both of those energies. And I think that your pile has a specific message when it comes to holding both of those energies and finding balance of those 2 energies. So let's see what we have for you, pile number 3, with the actual tarot cards. The first thing that we have is the 2 of Cups. And this card sometimes can show new relationships. Sometimes it can show business partnerships. And I think that a lot of you think that you need a partner, or some of you are probably searching for a partner when it comes to business. And this is not a bad thing either. But I also want to advise that not all of you need one, but I do think that that's something that's coming about for a lot of you, or that is something that you're searching for. All right, we have the 9 of Wands, and this is showing somebody who is stepping out and doing something different, going against the grain, doing something that other people might have told you not to do before. All right, we also have the 8 of Wands. So we have some Wands energy. I feel like pile 1 had a bit of Wands energy as well. So this 8 of Wands, this is moving very, very quickly. So we went from the 9 to the 8. And We are stepping out, doing something different, going against the grain, and then we are learning something very fast. The Eight of Wands shows us communicating. Maybe we are taking a course or we are learning something very quickly. So we are internalizing information. So you might be taking a class, you might be reading a lot of books, you might be getting really invested in a specific field at this time. And then the last card, we have the Fool, card number 0. And I think that this is really good. This is really exciting because the Fool is stepping out also and doing something different, going against the grain. Except for the Fool isn't aware of it. The Fool is not aware of the abyss that he's about to dance off of, the cliff. He's not aware of the challenges and everything that lies ahead. And that's actually a good thing. That's what keeps the Fool going and gets the Fool farther. Because if the Fool knew what was coming up ahead, then there would probably be apprehensiveness. And that is something that it can actually stop us. These anxieties, these thoughts about the future can stop us from going forward. So I think that you're being advised to keep going. Even though you don't know the answers, you don't have something figured out, it's time to use the courage and the bravery that you have and the lack of knowledge that you have to keep going, because you're going to learn by going through this process. So this is very exciting. All right, so we have these Tree of Life Oracle cards, and this is one of my favorite decks. So let's see what we've got for you. These are great if you are learning the Tree of Life, learning Kabbalah. You have card number 7. It says Netzach, which means victory. And it says hope, love, and art. And Netzach has a lot to do with our... also the color is green, just like that heart chakra card. And it has to do with our emotions. Netzach highlights our emotions and our beauty, art, music, anything that has to do with the planet Venus. That is what Netzach rules. So I think that these are the types of energies that you're being called to invoke upon at this moment. Wherever your career is going, there's going to be an emphasis on beauty. So I don't know if this means it like in the field of beauty, literally, if it has to do with modeling or cosmetology or something like that. It's possible. But it can also have to do with music, doing the arts, drawing from your emotions. It could even be like this, tarot, or in the field of spirituality. It could have to do with therapy. But you are being called into the area where you are appreciating beauty and you are expressing beauty. So that's really important for you to hear at this time. So work with those energies of Netzach, work with the energies of Venus as you move forward. All right, so we're going back to this deck, the Sacred Geometry cards, because I have one more Sacred Geometry card that I want to pull for you, pile number 3. I love this card. We pulled card number 11, so that might be a significant number for you, 11. It says belief. The frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to Source. So you are being called to draw upon the talents and the gifts that you have. And sometimes we don't know exactly what they are, but you have an interest in something. You have something that you are really excited about. And chances are, when you're really excited about something, whether you're really good at it already, chances are you probably are good at it if you're really excited about it. But if you are really excited about it and you practice and you make mistakes, you learn through those mistakes and you get better and you build what's the word? Resilience. You build resilience very quickly and you are building skill. So doing that, practicing and taking action, and also learning and integrating information that you're learning, so studying, whether you're taking classes, etc. Putting all of those things together is what's going to align you with your purpose and make you really good at something. Once you receive confirmation that you are really good at something, people are going to reflect that value back to you, and that is going to be your ticket to actually getting paid, building a name for yourself if that's something that you're trying to do, or just actually embodying the work that you want to embody and living in the field or working in the field that you actually want to work in. So you need to believe that it's possible to do this and follow what it is that you truly, truly want to do. Okay, so I have these other cards. These are magical symbols cards. You can work with these symbols. You can draw them, put energy into them. It's kind of endless what you can do with them. And it's so interesting. We have breaking bad habits. It says self acceptance and excellent mental health. So this doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't have to be, an addiction or anything like that, just breaking bad habits. It could be bad, mental patterns where we're ruminating on things. So I think that that's something that you're being called to look at this time. But it's time for you to really accept yourself for who you are. And this excellent mental health is something that we all work on. I think that this could be something that could be a field that you're stepping into. I had mentioned therapy earlier. I think that it's very possible that some of you are going into the field of psychology, or you're learning a lot about the self and consciousness and how that works. And most likely, if you're watching this channel, that's probably a big thing that you're really interested in. But that could definitely play a huge role when it comes to your career and where you're going in life. Now, I know that this was a shorter reading than normal, but I end every reading out with some sort of affirmation card. Let's see what we've got for you, pawn number 3. We have align. Okay, so this says, you're being asked to align with your current situation, even if it's not easy to do so. Trust that there is much to be learned by being here. Pushing against what is will only make things harder on you. Align, surrender, and trust. So I think that there is an emphasis on acceptance at this moment, acceptance of where you are if you have been really struggling with where you are. So I hope that this is something that has resonated with you all. If so, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe for more content. I do offer private readings, so if you do want a reading by me, you can check out the link in the description below and book a reading with me. And I also have courses on Kabbalah, Tarot, Ceremonial Magic, so if that's something that you're interested in, check out those links in the description. And I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and until next time.